Welcome back, our dear viewers. The Decent Life National Project Hayat Karima was initiated experimentally in 2019 by President Abdel Fattah Sisi, and its first phase was officially launched in July 2021. The project aims to improve the standards of living, infrastructure and the basic services, including the healthcare across the countryside. To shed more light on that, we are very much delighted to be joined today in the studio by our dear guest, Dr. Amira Mustafa Sabeq, the Strategic Administration and Leadership Expert. Good morning, Dr. Sabeq.
Good morning to you and to all the audience.
Dr. Sabeq, how does the civil society support the Decent Life initiative?
Okay, now we have a big awareness about decent life. The government had started to give or to start lots of conferences, lots of initiatives about Hayat Karima and to invite youth to it. Now, I as a youth, let me ask you a question, you as Mehi.
Yes.
What makes you motivated to do something? You, what makes you motivated? When you find something in it for you, yes?
Yeah.
So now the government started to give a lot of awareness to youth that you are part of all. You are part of a community that if you are good and do good for the community, all of it will be supported by you. You will have a decent life. So now, in the rural countries, the unemployment rate has decreased and lots of people started to work in this initiative. They started to go for schools and see the needs for schools, to go for houses to see the needs of houses, to go for the corporates and ask them for support. So the civil world or the civil community now started to say, okay, let's see the gaps that we have in our community. Let's have a deeper look to the rural areas and see the needy people what they need. Let's talk more about the CSR, the corporate social responsibility. A piece of information, it's like 10 years ago in the States, they started to say, okay, we want people to get engaged more to our corporates. Okay, let's take the corporate as a unit, okay? So the corporate said, we want people to be, or employees to be more engaged to us. And they started many things. They started by raising salaries. It was having a positive impact. Then they started to give them like more benefits. It started to have positive impact. And then the thing that they really tried and found out that it has a very positive impact is the social responsibility, the CSR. One of the big corporates in technology, I don't want to mention the name, they started to do this, okay? And they found out by research that this company or this corporate is one of the corporates that really have good engagement. When they talk to the people, they asked them, why are you so much engaged? They said, okay, now our company or our corporate is providing us with benefits for me as an employee, and they are giving me the opportunity to serve the community I'm in, so we are having triple benefit. I'm getting the benefit as an employee, the business is getting the benefit because I'm loyal to it now, and the community, by the support of my corporate, is getting this support, okay? So I am doing good for myself, for my business, and for my community. So we can say that one of the things that really started to happen here in Egypt is most of the corporates started to do CSR, and they are encouraging their employees to go in that, and to feel loyal and committed to their community.
Back to the Decent Life initiative, Doctor. How can the Decent Life support the civil society activities and projects?
Decent Life definitely is now watched by the whole world. By the way, during the COVID time, lots of countries were just waiting for the COVID to end.
Yes.
And the Egyptians here, and this is by the United Nations, it was said that Egypt was one of the countries that boomed during COVID. They started to do things like the initiative of Hayat Karima. Now let me tell you something. Hayat Karima made the rate of unemployment less by 33%. Hayat Karima, now you can buy through Hayat Karima, more than 95% of the children in rural areas are going to schools. This is a very big rate. Okay, but
So we can feel here the difference before and after. Or
there is a
after
big
just-
difference, especially when now you talk to people in rural countries, they started to feel we are not neglected anymore. We are seen by people, we are seen by the government, and the best thing is they learned how to ask for help. Now they can analyze their situation, and they started to say, okay, we as people seen by the government, we need sanitation supplies, we need water supplies, we need more schools. It is not easy to know what you need and ask for it. In the past, these rural areas felt that they don't have the right to ask for anything. Okay, they were not seen. Now, these areas, with their governorates, with their people in charge, they started to do like an analysis for the weak points they have or the gap they have, and they started to reach the government for this. And the government now is encouraging thousands and thousands of youth. Now you can find thousands of youth say, I'm responsible for Fayoum area, I'm responsible for Minya area, I'm responsible, and they are very well-trained youth. So now the rural areas learned how to make the analysis, they knew how to reach the government, and the government now know how to use the youth to fill in these gaps.
Yes. And that would be my question here. How does the Decent Life initiative enhance the youth potentials, Doctor?
Okay. As I said, I as a person, I will never be motivated to take any action unless I have a vision for what's going on. Okay? Hayat Karima was built or succeeded on 3 pillars. Number 1, and this was the most successful thing that Hayat Karima did, there was a lot of information given to the youth about the status the country in. Okay, youth were invited, and they said, now the status is so and so and so, and we have the gaps, and these are the solutions. So if you give us a hand as youth, we will be able to fill in these gaps. I as a youth, I see the gap, I see the solution, and I see my role in it. So I'm working with an end in mind. I'm having a vision. Okay. Hayat Karima succeeded because the big vision that was shared with the youth, it succeeded because of taking youth as part of the decision-making process. Now you cannot make anyone committed unless he is part of the decision-making. Now you can find small committees run by youth. They are delegated to make decisions. They don't have to go to upper people in the government. They are delegated, they are empowered. So we are now faster. We have more agility and more flexibility to solve the problems, and this enriched Hayat Karima a lot.
Indeed. What is the extent of progress in projects at the level of infrastructure on the Egyptians' lives regarding Hayat Karima project?
Okay, talking about the infrastructure, now it's like according to the first phase of Hayat Karima, we already finished 40% of housing supplies in rural countries. We are covering, as I said, 90% of the people who need to go to school by building small schools. We have covered like 60% of housing with water and sanitation supplies. There are now lots of job opportunities for little ones or for youth in rural areas. So we are filling the gaps by percentage from 40 to 90%.
Yes. Did that help, all these changes help in changing the mindset of some of the people in the rural areas? Because beforehand we can say that some of the people were reluctant to send their kids to schools, even if the schools were available. No, we want them to help us to improve
in the farming,
to improve our income. So can we say here that we did witness during the past few years a real change in the mindset of the people here?
The issue is that in the past, people were reluctant because, as I said, they don't see the end picture. They don't have a vision.
They were disappointed.
They
or
were demotivated and disappointed, and everything will be okay. They will not make a change. It's better for them to help us. But now, with the awareness we set, and by the way, they don't have the option now. They don't have the option not to send their kids to school. Okay, they will be judge for this. So if I don't have the option, خلاص, I will send my kids to the school and I will find another way to increase my financial resources or income. So now the government is giving them the awareness, is not giving them the option to be reluctant not to be part or an active part or proactive part of
it. Which is very important actually, because it's not an option.
Yes.
You are destroying the whole society by not sending your kids to school and increasing the literacy level, and it's a great catastrophe.
Let me tell you the one thing that really helped in the rural areas, they needed some firmness.
Yes.
And our government now is very firm. So not giving the option to be reluctant, we needed that, and it helped a lot.
Indeed.
Now the impact of Decent Life, and when we started to see the successes, even parents and even at colleges, we started to instill in our youth values, value of integrity, values of honor. Do you remember when we say that this is was a noble person? We are not using this word a lot now, but now we are returning it. To be noble, you have to share with your community your services. To be a noble person, you need to respect others, especially the needy people. So now the whole society started to talk with the youth about the values of building, the values of kindness, the values of achievement.
Yeah.
Now, especially because I can see a youth like me coming to talk to me, okay, someone coming from Cairo or from Alex to me in a rural country, I can see this as a role model. I want to be like this person.
Yeah.
He is serving my country. He is an achiever. He is achieving success. I want to be like this. So having our well-trained youth who are sharing now or contributing to Hayat Karima as role models is giving hope for the ones who felt that they were neglected one day. We can be like these people. I can be an achiever. I can be a fingerprint in my country. I can be a proactive person. I am not anymore a reactive person.
Yes. Doctor, can you give us here your insight on how the Decent Life may contribute to job opportunities for the young people?
Okay. As Decent Life is running lots of projects now, lots of projects in different fields. Let's say in all fields, in technology field, in housing, in education. So now I'm calling people who are unemployed to take part in these job opportunities. Yes. When I focus on the rural areas and they become motivated and the mindset work on we can be a big place like Cairo, they started, now you can see in rural areas factories built. Companies start, which was not used in the past. So we are opening job opportunities, which was very important for youth. Get me a youth who has a job and has financial security and tell him do anything. He will be motivated to do.
Indeed.
But if you get a youth who has no job, who has no care from his country, can I ask him, how can I ask him to do anything? He is demotivated.
It makes
so
sense.
Decent Life changed the mindset of Egyptians. They became more proactive, more achievers, more willing to help.
Yes. What, in your opinion, Doctor, is the importance of the involvement of youth in projects and following up on the sustainable development projects?
Okay. When we talk about sustainability, what does this mean? It means that we are using our resources, just what we need, and we're leaving other resources for the coming generation. We are not using all our resources. Our youth now, they started to study sustainability in colleges. They started to get training in it. They started to know what is meant by recycling, what's meant to go green. So they have big awareness about sustainability. This is the generation that when they work now, after 20 and 30 years, they will be very proud that we still have resources for their kids, for the coming generation. خلاص, we are as adults, this is not our role anymore, because we will be in the working field for like 10, 15 years maximum. But the youth who are staying for 20 years and 30 years, if they learn about sustainability and how to use just the minimal of resources that they need, they shouldn't waste resources to keep for our future projects, to keep for our project, for our future generation life. This youth will feel the responsibility and they will do a lot of achievements, and this means that we are not just working on the prosperity of this timing we are in, but on the prosperity of and welfare of the coming life.
Indeed. How important is the participation of women in sustainable development, especially in the small and medium projects?
Let's say first, has women felt that they had a role before? No.
Yes.
This is something new. Okay. Now, as a woman, I am empowered and I feel that I'm encouraged to take role in my country because I started to see role models.
Indeed. Many,
female, many, okay,
and especially on many levels actually.
This has never happened in Egypt before. Like in the 5-7 years ago, we started during the 5 years, we started to have role models in different fields.
Indeed, yes.
Which makes me as a woman say, okay, so I can be like this lady even in my small community. I as a woman, even I don't have the chance to prosper, I as a woman, but I have the chance in my daughters. So women now, they are not encouraging their daughters to get married early. If you can see now, in the past, girls started to get married at the age of 18, 19 or even less. Now you will find lots of ladies, even in rural areas, they say, no, I will not get married until I'm 25 or 26 because I want to work on myself first. I want to prove myself. I want to start a career. And her mom is helping her. Her dad is helping her. Okay? So the whole community, they are saying, yes, as a lady, you have a place to prosper and shine.
Finally, Dr. Sabeq, to what extent do you see the importance of the initiative, Decent Life Initiative or Hayat Karima, developing housing, education and improving services as well as the living condition for the citizens?
Okay. In the past, we didn't have pure water in these areas. Now, these areas are supplied with pure water. It is very rare to find poor housing for these people. We have decent housing. We are having, as I said, schools. We are having teachers who are trained to teach these schools. So you can find lots of progress in the housing area, education field, and industry field. Now even building industries, building new corporates in these areas, bridges, roads. Now you can see now if you go to these cities, they are totally different. They are totally different. Even the dignity of people has been raised because they started to feel they are living in a decent place. They are having a decent life.
Actually, which is very, very positive.
And we needed that.
Indeed, Dr. Amira Mustafa Sabeq, our strategic administration and leadership expert. Thank you very much for the precious input and for being our guest for today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for me. Thank you.
Our dear viewers, now we'll go to a short break and after that we'll be back with my dear colleague Amal Mukhtar. So stay tuned on 90 International.